Denisha, you're going to have to do the welcome back.
He was literally lying.
Denisha, you're going to do the welcome back since you were the outro.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming back with us. We have Patrice Bailey, and today's conversation is the elevation conversation. Because why not elevate? Can't stay down all the time. We're meant to grow. So, Patrice is an elevation strategist that works with men and women, as we learned, to help get us to the next level of our lives, because we're meant to do more, we're meant to be more. So on that note, my question for you is, why do you believe that now is the time for people to really lock in on getting to that next level?
Oh, that's a great question. I really believe that God is requiring of us to reposture ourselves, because I believe that He wants to download blueprints to us. And if we're not in that place to receive it, we will keep going around like the children of Israel. We will keep going around the mountain. And as we are getting older, and I really believe that we carry solutions that our generation needs. And that's really why it's now.
Yeah.
You know, the world is crying out for solutions. The problems that you're seeing, could you be the one that has the solution for that problem?
Yeah.
And that's also a clue.
Yeah.
What you find, things that you dislike, injustices, that's a clue. That's a clue that you possibly carry that solution. And so that's why it's now. The earth is groaning for the manifestation of the sons of God. All of creation is groaning, waiting for the manifestation of us. And when we're out of alignment, when we're in the wrong position, in the wrong places, the solutions that God has sent in this time for this season won't be fulfilled, because we're not there. We're supposed to be in the different places, in the government, in media, in the marketplace. We're supposed to be in all of these different places. So it's now. What other time would it be?
I like that. That's good. Now, the follow-up to that would be, what do you see as the future with that mindset? If everyone were to take action now, what do you see as the future, or as the result of that? What would that look like? Because there are some people there that think, and on the biblical note, there are some people that believe in modesty and believe that, we're meant to just be humble, and we're meant to... How does that tie into having people elevate, having people grow, having people be in parliament, having people be actresses and lawyers and all these wonderful things, knowing that people's destinies are tied to that? How do the two connect, or what are your views on the two connecting?
Being in the government, being in media, that's still being humble. It's really, you're just now operating from your original design. You're operating from your Jeremiah 1:5. God knew you, and before He formed you, you're just operating from that place, and there is a position for you. I truly believe that based on everything that you've been through, the path that you have walked, nobody can take that place. There's nobody. That place really is for you, and that position really is for you. I don't see it as not being humble. I see that as being the light, as being the salt of the earth, as being the city on a hill that cannot be hidden. That's what I see that as, and that for me is a command. When I see that, or when I read that, I believe that was a command. Jesus gave that as a command. He said, what good is your light if it's hidden under a bushel? We are supposed to be visible. We are not supposed to be hidden. We are supposed to give the flavor to the world. So we're supposed to be in these places. That is being humble.
I like that term, flavor to the world. I like that. That's very good. So what is one thing? I mean, we have a beautiful studio audience today, but what is... What is... Why? I mean, celebrate yourself. You're beautiful.
I love it.
Don't distract me. Now, what is one thing that you would want every person looking at you, or every person that comes into contact with you, or even the people that are here today? What is one thing that you would want them to know, or to carry with them, or to carry away from an encounter or an experience with Patrice Bailey?
Oh, that is such a good question. I don't know, because I don't really think about that. But I do know... to be unapologetically yourself. Because in that is everything. In that is your freedom. In that is your influence, your income, your impact is from that place. There's no other place to be but in that place. Just being yourself, being unapologetically you, discovering yourself, going on that journey to discover yourself and to come into alignment with your true assignment. Assignments are seasonal. You don't just have one assignment. You have a calling that is without repentance. And your purpose you will be discovering as you begin to discover yourself. But really, if somebody was to encounter me, I'd really just want them to just come into alignment with their true self. There's nothing else than that. There's nothing more. Don't get married without coming into alignment with your true self.
Ooh.
Yeah, do you want to go there? Shall we go there?
We're gonna go there. We are gonna.
Just don't do it, because that marriage will define you. That man will define you unless you define yourself and know who you are. Because it will shape you.
So now that brings me to, how can a woman or a man that is married, that has not or did not have the knowledge of
Good
that,
question.
how can they're now finding themselves in this position where they're like, okay, there has to be more than this. But they're already married. They already have the kids. They're already where they are. How can they now realign to who they're supposed to be in the context of being a husband or a wife?
It's a good question, because when I got married, I didn't know myself. You know, I was defined by the roles, but I literally went on this self-discovery journey with me and God. I literally had to go on that journey, and it's difficult when you're already married, because there is an expectation of you as this wife, as this, okay, society has classed you as this wife, and this is now your role. And so it really does take courage to do it whilst you're in a marriage. It really does, and it's something that you will have to discuss with your partner, that you're going to go on this journey. And I remember saying to my husband at the beginning, I said, the woman that I am now is not the woman that I'm always going to be, because I always knew that I was going to evolve.
Yeah.
I always knew that, and I did pre-warn him. Those conversations need to be had. But if you're already there, it's important, because when you start having children and things, you are going to be the first ministry to them. You are going to be the ones that they're going to watch. And so as a woman especially, what legacy do you want to leave for your children?
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to do this. And it doesn't matter whether you're already married. It's important to go on that journey.
Good to know. Thank you for that. Do we have any questions from our wonderful audience? Now, you can ask Patrice. Let me tell you something. People pay for this stuff. So, do you guys have any questions? Is there anything that you would like to know? Feel free to ask.
I have a question. Because I've interacted with Patrice before, there is something that she said and she shared with us before that will stay with me, and I think it's worth sharing with others. Can you speak on agreements, the agreements we make,
Oh.
knowingly, unknowingly, the contracts we sign, and the ones we should?
So, yeah. So death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so our words are so powerful. And so every time you say anything, so death is speaking limitation, lack. That's speaking death. And every time you speak that, you're coming into agreement with those words. Every time you speak life, you're coming into agreement. And so many of us have come into agreement with lack, with limitation. And so we have to begin to break that, because those are contracts. Once it goes out, I talk about legislation. We legislate. Every time we open our mouths, we are now legislating in that atmosphere. And so it's very important for you to now go back, and you have to now begin to renounce these agreements. You have to now begin to break these agreements, because don't think that when you speak, it's just going out into nothing. The agreements you make when you're speaking to your cousin or speaking to your friend, every time, and even when your friend is saying something or your cousin is saying something, don't be careful the agreement that you come into with that conversation. Conversations are not innocent. You will reap what you sow. You will reap that conversation that you're having. And so we have to just be very careful. Every time we're opening our mouth, we're coming into agreement. So you're either coming into agreement with death or life. There is no in between. There's no in between. Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
I have a follow-up. Can you see me? Okay. So, what advice would you give someone who is accustomed to speaking negatively over their lives? How do they begin to change their words, or in a way undo the damage that they've done with their words?
Join my Renew Your Mind challenge. No, seriously. The reason why I say that, and I say it with tongue in cheek, but I say that because it is really a process. Because you have to understand the reason why you're coming into agreement, or the reason why you're saying these things, is because of limiting beliefs that you've held on to. So limiting beliefs now become strongholds. And strongholds, they have to be torn down. So you have to now, first of all, recognize that you're even operating with limiting beliefs before you can even begin to change your language. And so it's important to go on a program or do, find a coach or a mentor that's going to help you now begin to identify these limiting beliefs. So then you can now, begin to tear down and come into agreement with something else. It's not something that you're just going to know and understand. And when I do my challenges or I do my programs, I always ask people to have an accountability partner, because it's important that you have a mirror, someone to bounce off of. Because when we speak, we do it so innocently, we don't even realize it rolls off of our tongue. But where has it come from? It has come from the heart. It has come from a belief that you don't even know is there. It's in your subconscious, because what happens throughout our whole life, everything that we've ever seen, done, heard, everything that's happened to us is now imprinted in our DNA. It's in our subconscious mind. And until you meet somebody that's going to say, hold on a second, that's not true. And I did it with my son. I share this all the time. My son and my daughter, he's 6 and my daughter is 8. And they're constantly fighting. My daughter, the 8-year-old, will wind up my son. And he'll come to me and he'll say, Mummy, Azari has said this. And I said, is it true? And he, in between the tears, he'll be like, no. I said, go. And that's what I do. And that's really what it is. And so when I do my programs and I do my challenges, it really is about, is it true? What you're believing about men, about money, about life, is it true? Mm-hmm. Because if it's not true, it's something that needs to be torn down and replaced with the truth. Mm-hmm. For me, the truth is the word of God. Anything that's contrary to the word of God is a lie. Is a lie, but we have believed these lies. Mm-hmm. Society has fed us these lies and we've believed them. So we have to begin to now renew your mind. Transformation comes by the renewing of your mind. And that's where it all begins. The renewal of your mind.
That was
See the
beautiful.
cameraman nodding.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Sure.
That wasn't my original question, but her question was so good. I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking about something.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this is something you covered earlier because I was in the back getting things ready. But when we talk about purpose, a lot of us can mistaken that for something that we're good at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if I'm good at singing, I automatically think, well, I'm supposed to be a singer. This is my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How do we identify the difference between purpose and something you're good at?
Mm-hmm. And passion.
And passion, correct.
That's a good question.
Also, what does one do when they have multiple passions? Because then it's like, do you have 300 purposes? Like, how does that work, right? So, yeah, that's my question.
And I'm going to turn it back to you, Destiny, because we've had this conversation. What happened? What did I say to you?
Well, I asked you to so that everybody.
I know. What did I say? Because that was transformation,
Yes.
literally in the car.
Yes,
So I want you to
100%.
share what happened.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. I turn it back on you.
So we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I obviously have a lot of passions.
Yes.
And what you explained to me was that all of those passions are sort of like a tool guiding me towards the actual purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that it is important to lean into those passions because hence it will guide me there. I have one purpose, and my job in life is to discover what that is. It's not something I'm going to get up and know automatically. But as I lean into those passions, I will discover my true self and thus my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And those passions are also meant to be used during different assignments. So sometimes, depending on where you are in life, that passion will be like your guiding light, for whatever assignment you have. And so you might move on to something else. You might find yourself leaning more into another passion of yours for another assignment. So
Yeah. It really is. It will all be a step up, but everything will be aligned. So for example, Destiny, you're super creative, but then we began to dissect that this is a passion, but it's not your purpose. And we began to go through the different passions that you had your own light bulb moments. You realized that life had been speaking to you. God had been speaking to you throughout your whole life. And it'd been showing you, and that's what will happen. As you begin to lean in, you will begin to see that, okay, for example, Destiny is great at makeup, but that's not her purpose. Her purpose, as I said to her, is to have her own show, is to be. It is about, God has put something in you that is for the masses. You're not supposed to be behind the scenes. And so sometimes it's going to take somebody else to be able to see that. But as I said, God will always send you people. And God has sent you people. And you keep hearing. And so it now comes that, are you going to start listening and leaning in? Because God is speaking all the time. We're just not listening.
That's nice. That's nice.
I love this character.
Do you have any more questions?
Yes, we have a question.
So I've always been that girl who all of my friends come to for
Advice.
I don't think it starts out as them coming to me for advice. I think it's Joy listens, and somehow the things that I say turns out to be really good advice.
Yeah.
I struggle with when I have my own issues. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's
I
okay.
feel like I don't want to share the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Henrietta is always there for me. She's like, if you don't say what's going on, how can I help you?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's negative energy. Thank you. And I don't think that I should give that to anyone. Like I shouldn't give anyone my burdens. But when I'm doing it, it doesn't feel like people are bringing burdens to me. It just feels like I make people happy. I make them see the way and see the light. When my time comes, I truly, and she can tell you, she's like, I'll be like, I'm struggling. And she'll be like, well, I'm here. Like, why don't you talk to me? And I go, I don't like to give people my stress. And she's like, well, how can I help? And it's like a revolving door. And like, I literally struggle with that. I truly don't know, even though she tells me, like, I'm here, come to me, I'm here, come to me. I don't know. It's like I don't know how to break that cycle.
Joy, you have to go on your own healing journey. You have to allow the process to happen, and it's going to be painful, but you're going to have to allow the process to happen for you to be healed and for your mind to be renewed, so you can be whole when you're giving the advice. And so if God has sent Henrietta, then you're not giving her negative energy. It's that she has the capacity to be able to handle what it is that you're going to bring her. And she can then be the counsel. God will then use her to give you wise counsel. He will then use her to be able to help you to begin your own healing journey. It's really important that you allow somebody in to be able to help you. God uses each and every one of us in different ways. And so she could be the angel that God has sent. So it's not giving negative energy. Whoever God sends has the capacity to be able to handle whatever burdens you have. And you
had messaged me and I was like, there's so many things I wanted to say and I didn't know where to start, and so I didn't respond. You notice that? It was like 3 days and I still haven't responded to you because I didn't know how to or where to begin. Yeah.
But you've got to start from somewhere. Once you begin, and then the journey, you can begin the journey, but you've got to take that first step. Because you can't stay here. Yeah. I always say, don't ever build your tent in the valley. You don't build it in the valley. The valley is for you to pass through. Yeah. You don't build in the valley. So you have to take that step. And you pick up your tent and you start going. Because you're going to come out the other side. I guarantee you. You're going to come out the other side, but you just have to get up and get moving.
You have a question? Another question?
We can take a question.
Do we go? Okay, Caroline.
One tiny question, Patrice. I hope it's tiny. So this is it. I've been listening to you and something just popped up and I assume it's the voice of the accuser.
Oh, that voice!
So we're talking about coming into our true selves and walking in alignment with what God has called us to be. What would you say to the detractor that would bring up the word of God that, well, not the part of the Bible that talks about dying to yourself and sacrificing? How do you counter that? Because that just popped up and I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you want to say to that?
What, dying to yourself?
Yes. There's this I've been pontificated to about this. You know, like we're always supposed to remove the essence of not who you are, but kill your flesh, not your desires. It's God way only. How do you walk in yourself without that part of it?
Okay, so the flesh and the spirit is two separate things. So when God says he knew you, which is an intimate relationship before he formed you, that is the spirit self of you. That is the authentic self of you. The flesh is everything that you have become. Everything that you have become based on trauma, based on pain, based on all these things. So when the Bible says die to flesh, it's very important because the fleshly desires, the ambition, the holding on to the bitterness, the resentment, the regret, all of these things, those are the fleshly things that God wants you to lay down. He wants you to surrender. So the spirit can have manifestation. So you can now be led by the Spirit, which is your true self, the true essence of who you are. That is the Genesis 1:26, you know, let us create a man in our own image. It is that. That's the Spirit. That's the Spirit. So die to flesh. There's nothing there in the flesh. There's nothing there. The enemy wants you to stay in the flesh. The enemy wants you to stay in offense. He wants you to stay in resentment. He wants you to stay in regret, because then he can kill, steal, and destroy your dreams and your destiny and the destinies of those who are behind you, who are waiting for you. He wants you to stay in the flesh. You don't stay in the flesh. You be led by the Spirit.
My question before we go to Carolina, dying to the flesh, Jonelle, as it relates to your purpose, they're trying to say what? That
It's
you
just-
should,
I don't know if you've heard this. It's like, take up
because
your
I just
cross
need a bit
daily.
of clarification. Pardon?
Yes, it's usually, if anything that attempts to take the glory from God,
Mm-hmm.
that is flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And you're constantly told to lay down your cross,
Mhm.
take up your cross daily.
Okay.
You know, make sure that at all times God gets this glory and honor,
Mhm.
and that if at any point you find that yourself is being glorified more than anything else,
Mhm.
than that. But now that the more we're talking about ourselves, I wonder, I don't know why it popped up. That's why I thought, is this the voice of the accuser? Clarify for me now. How do you address that?
Mm-hmm.
That was what was.
Mhm.
Hope that clarifies it.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Carolina?
No, thank you so much. I wanted to say that the mindset mornings that I joined with you, I found they were really helpful, you know, to like, you explain how to, you know, what you have to kind of break down, and it's a work in progress. It really is, it's work.
It is.
Because, you know, like your mindset, like you said, after years of certain things or traumas, or you believe the lie, you don't know
Yeah.
if it's a lie, you're like, is it a lie? No, but they said it's not a lie.
Yeah.
So, is it a lie? No, but, you know, so
Yeah.
you're going back and forth. I find that. I just wanted to just ask, what's kind of like your top tip, or, you know, your tips on how best to relate to people?
To relate to people.
Yes.
That's a really good question, because what can happen is that we tend to naturally just judge people. We tend to just naturally put people in a box based on color, based on culture, whatever it is, the way they dress. We put people, but what God has really done a work in me is to begin to see the Spirit in them, begin to see who they truly are, you know, aside from everything else. That's why if you have a conversation with me, I will look past all of the stuff. I will look past what you're saying and look deeper, because when somebody's hurting, when somebody's manifesting something that doesn't look great, there's some pain there, there's a wound there, there's something that's being triggered in that person. And so you have to now begin to it's I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's now operating from your higher self, because when we operate from our lower self, we'll just be battling flesh. And so you have to now operate from your higher self and look from a deeper level, whoever you meet.
Is it look at God in them, yeah?
100%.
See God in them.
Yes.
See God in them.
Yes.
However
Even when it's
difficult, however unpleasant they can be,
100%.
however tormenting they can be.
And that word torment, well, what you have to understand is that people are operating under, I don't want to say different spirits, but people are operating under different things. And so you have to begin to protect yourself and definitely see the God in them. But be careful about the words that you use to associate with that person. Mm-hmm. Just be careful about the words that you use to associate, because God may present that person to bring something out in you. And that's why that person is there. So you may see them as a tormentor, but God has sent them to actually elevate you. If you look at Joseph, his brothers, if we look at Joseph, his brothers came, they wanted to kill him. They put him in the pit. But what did he say at the end? He said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. If it wasn't for them doing what they did, Joseph would not have been where he
But
was.
Joseph still complained.
Yeah, but that's not the point. What he was saying, what he said was, God used them to bring him into Egypt. If it wasn't for them, he wouldn't have been brought into Egypt.
That's right.
I can't, because the mindset, I have to go back to it, but there are three things that you said. I remember you said something like, don't complain,
Yeah.
don't something, and
Don't murmur, don't complain.
and there's another, don't
Yeah.
murmur, don't complain.
Yeah, God
and
doesn't
don't
like it.
gossip.
Yeah, God really doesn't like it. He really doesn't like it. And it's hard because we're human and people are people.
I was going to say, how do you not murmur?
How do you not murmur? That's
Hugh, do
good
you
one.
have a question?
I did.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for, because I know like you mentioned, life and death is in the power of the tongue, which I also believe. So for the person who has been very positive years and years and years about something in their life, and maybe it's not coming into fruition, maybe keeping the faith, or maybe not turning into that negative, like the death of the tongue, because maybe they're not seeing it anymore for themselves, or just like feeling like they can be whatever that is for them. Do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, that's really important. What we have to understand is that there's seasons for everything. And so I always say God is not a genie in a lamp that we can just rub 3 times and say, God, I want this, and he's just going to give it to us. It doesn't work like that. He knew you and he formed you. There's a book written about you. And so that's why it's really important to come into alignment, because the things that you might be asking for, they could kill you, they could break you, anything, because that's what you want. But what does God want? And so you may not be seeing it. And the best posture is said, for me, is not my will, but your will be done. Even though I want this thing, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. That is the best posture. It is the best prayer, because you just let go now. You're just surrendering, because I really believe in he will do the exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. There's nothing that you could ever want that God doesn't want more for you. Nothing. And so sometimes it may be just that it's not the right season. You're not ready for that thing that you think that you're ready for. It could do more harm than good. So you just have to literally trust God, because this is a faith walk. Trust God. It may not be for you, even though you desire it. You may be desiring it based on the identity that you have of yourself at that present moment. But when you begin to elevate and you begin to become your true identity, that thing may not even fit. It may be even too small. So don't box God in and don't limit God. Yeah.
From no questions to several.
We're gonna start charging. This is where we start retainers.
Okay, fine, go ahead. Okay, so you mentioned seasons. I wanted to ask you about the seasons in your life. And after her question, and the word came out of your mouth, it told me that I needed to ask.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So can you explain the seasons, the different seasons that we go through, what they look like, what can we expect, about not trying to preempt the next stage, things like that. What should we be doing in each season?
You'd have to come on my challenge to learn everything. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's the winter season. That's your hidden season. Yeah, that's when God is going to be working with you. Then you go into your springtime. That's when you become more visible, and that's when you begin to start planting those seeds. Because whilst God is working on you in the winter, as you now transition into your spring, and then you go into your summer, which is protecting what you have planted. You see, in the spring you plant the seeds, but when you plant a seed, it goes down before it comes up. And so in the summer, you've got to make sure that you're protecting whatever you've planted, whether it be visibility, a business, a ministry. You go into your summer and you protect it. And then you go into autumn when it's done the harvest. That's when you will see the manifestation. But you do not jump seasons. You do not rush seasons. You have to really discern what season am I in. And yes, come and becoming challenged, and I will teach you how to discern which season you're in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, last one. So, as you were explaining to Kia, you talked about desires of your heart. This kind of ties into your question as well, about dying to self. How do you know the difference between your own desires and a desire that is from God?
That's a really good question. You see, the desires that you have, the Bible says that God will give you the desires of your heart. So the desires that you have are actually from God. What the difference is when it's ambition. When it's ambition and not assignment, because the desires that God gives you is for your assignment. But if you now start following ambition, which is self-serving, which is striving, I believe there's a difference between striving and serving. There's a big difference. The world tells you hustle and grind. I don't believe in hustle and grind. I believe in service. When you begin to serve, you begin to flow and you begin to attract. And so those, you don't chase money, for example. You attract it. You see, and so those desires, really check them. Really check those desires. And you have to check based on, is it my ambition? Is it going to be self-serving? Is it just about me? If it's just about me, it's not God. If it's something that only you can do, it's not God. Because you're going to need him. Because what is God there for? God is not just there to bless me. That's not what God is there for. God, there's a purpose for your life. You're part of the kingdom advancement plan. So whatever the desires are is going to be part of the kingdom advancement plan. That's how you're going to know. And it's always going to be tied to people. It's always going to be tied to people. It's always going to be something bigger and something that you're going to need him for, because you're not going to be able to do it by yourself.
Just to recap on the November, on the,
Gosh. I really feel like I'm on a hot seat now. I sweat.
with like relationships, I remember you saying that with people, there's there's your close circle.
Yeah. Gosh, you guys are really remembering the things that I've said.
Yeah.
Oh my day.
That's what happens when we join your course.
Oh my gosh.
Could you tell us more about that?
Oh, yes. So I believe that you have your circle. I can't remember what I called it, but you have your intimate circle. Then there is the outer, and then there is like the crowd. The reason why we get hurt is because we bring the crowd into the inner circle. And we tell the crowd,
Come on
our problems and our secrets. The crowd is the crowd. They're not your inner. Your inner circle is people that have earned your trust. If they have not earned your trust, they do not come into your inner circle. You do not share your problems with them. If they, he's in the camera. You do not share your problems with the inner circle. Is everything okay?
Yes.
So people start out in the crowd and they begin to earn your trust, and they come a bit closer and then they come a bit closer. This is so you prevent yourself from getting hurt. Not everybody is your friend. Even though they're lovely as pie, they have to earn your trust. You have to be able to audit this relationship. Before you let them in. It will prevent a lot of hurt, especially with men as well. No disrespect to the men. Just don't bring them in just because you can conversate all night. Doesn't mean that's your husband. Doesn't mean that's your husband.
Somebody.
Doesn't mean that's your husband. They must earn your trust first. Don't allow people in until they've earned your trust.
Okay. Well, before we close, I do have one more hot seat question. Yes. Now, we know you're a minister, and we know that you are the elevation strategist, but coming from a young person's perspective, in the climate of the world today, how do you impart those things to a young person? Let's say they see what you do, they become curious, but then they're like, oh my goodness, this is very churchy. This is probably about
that.
God and God and God and God. How do you go about imparting that wisdom and knowledge without
Sounding churchy.
sounding churchy to the young people of the world today?
Oh, that's a good question, because I have a 27-year-old and a 16-year-old. I remember when my son was 16 and he was having just issues as a teenager, and I said to myself, I'm going to coach him because the mum-son relationship wasn't working. I decided I was going to coach him, and then we would actually meet. We would schedule times, and I would speak to him. And how I'm speaking now is how I've always spoken. I don't class it as churchy. I just believe in the creator of the world, and I just believe he's the creator, the King of Kings. I'm not trying to sound churchy. It's just what I believe. But with my son, I used to meet him. We used to schedule time, and I used to speak to him about renewing his mind and doing all of these things. And then he said, "Mum, can I invite my friends?" And then I ended up speaking to a group of them, because what I realized is that if their parents don't know, their kids don't know.
True.
And so they were hungry, and there's many youths that are actually hungry because their parents just don't know. And so in my programs, my challenges, a young person could come on, because it really is essentially what I speak about is renewing your mind. It's really becoming your authentic self, because many people talk about it on Instagram and social media, but people really live in their authentic self. And so that's the language I would use.
Yeah.
I remember I was having a coaching call with a mum, and her son overheard, and her son is 14, and he wrote a note to his mum while she was on the coaching call. He said, "Mum, could she coach me?" That brought tears to my eyes.
Aww.
I don't know what I was saying to his mum, but he felt he needed it.
Yeah.
So it's that affirmation. It's helping them to understand that there's nothing wrong with them. They don't need to fit in, and it's helping them to just begin to believe in themselves. That's really what I'm doing. But I'm helping, whether you're a man or a woman, just to come into alignment with who you truly are. There's nothing churchy about that. It's just being unapologetically you.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
I love that. Thank you very much for that.
And on that note, let's bring this full circle. Or let's talk about transformation and purpose and alignment. What kind of transformation do you see when women are in alignment?
It is the most beautiful thing. You just see, for me, I just see radiance, and I see the glory of God upon them. They've stepped into themselves. They've stepped into who God called them to be. That's what I see. I just see beauty. I see the metamorphosis, because transformation is in the Greek is metamorpho, which is as in the transformation from the caterpillar to the butterfly. That is transformation. That is a woman that is just blossoming. She's just walking out, and she's just flowing. There's no striving. There's no performance. She's just being her. And we see certain people that are just them, and we admire them. Because there's just something different about them. The way they move, the way they flow. That's transformation.
So definitely on the outside, whether visible or whether you can feel it, see it, hear it, you get the essence of them once
I like
you've
that word, it's
encountered.
the essence. Because it's you've embodied now.
And I like that word.
Yeah, and you have become.
And you've become.
Yeah.
Yes. And on that note, thank you, Patrice. This has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you for sharing your heart and your insights with us this afternoon, evening. So if there's someone listening who would like to go deeper or to work with you, could you share with us where we can find you?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Patrice Bailey _. I'm actually starting a Renew Your Mind challenge on the 15th of September, which is for the USA. So if you want to join the Renew Your Mind challenge, just DM me challenge, and then I will send you the link to join and to register. Yeah.
Thank you. And she's saying the US because I'm sure you realize by now she's from the UK.
Yeah.
I've been hearing all week about the favorite accent. So because of the time difference, this one is definitely going to be scheduled EST.
It will be.
Pardon?
What's the name of the page again?
Patrice Bailey _. Yeah, and just DM me challenge, and I will send you the link.
And to our listeners, if this conversation met you at the point where you are, if this conversation caused you to stop and think, if this conversation lit something up inside of you, please do share it with someone who you think will need to hear this. Yeah? Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your
everyone.
patience.
Thank you, Tanisha. Thank
Enjoy
you,
the rest of your evening.
Thank you, everyone.